Hello, Commanders, and welcome to the RNG Endgame, a podcast about the game Marvel Strike Force. Your hosts are Frid and Creative. We're leaders in an alliance from a large cluster, and would like to share our insights with you to hopefully improve your gameplay and overall experience, and give you a little entertainment.
All right, here we are for another exciting week. Well, is it we? Creative? Are you there?
I have returned.
Oh, welcome back. So we're here for another exciting week for episode 23, and I'll get us kicked off with my gearing and leveling for the week. The most exciting thing this week is that I've reconfigured almost my entire Blitz team configuration. And I actually, I shared with Creative kind of the domino effect of, hey, if I level up Ironheart, I got to move this guy here and there and there. It was like a domino effect. And he said, if I had to do all this work, I'd just forget about Ironheart and not level her up. But I decided to do it, and I'm happy I did. I also, a new video came out from Duartic with 25 teams that he's been using. So I kind of took what I did and a little bit of his and kind of mixed it all together. And I have now a new Blitz lineup. And I'll put together the graphic that I do every month. So it will be a little bit different this month. I have not had enough time to test this extensively, but I was telling Creative that I did a full cycle with all of these new teams. And the only loss I remember was Shield, which continues to be a loser in auto. If you play with them, you generally can win, but the AI really does a poor job with them in auto. So still pretty exciting to try these different teams, and I'll report more as I keep trying playing with them. From a farming perspective, Symbiote Spider-Man got to 6 stars, and I guess that's as far as we go. I am going to continue spending the 1.8 million just because I have enough things to do, and I might as well get those extra shards, but there's no way to get to 7 with what we have left, which is 4 days or so. We'll see where they end up sticking him, if it's going to be part of the milestone orb or what are they going to do with him. But I'm happy at 6. He's pretty effective. I finished farming, this was this morning, Shield Operative. And I upgraded her, and I unlocked Iron Man to 7 star, finally. So he's done. Yeah, 7-star Iron Man. And then Shield Operative got to 7 to be immediately retired because in this new configuration, she has no team. Coulson is back with Shield, so she's booted off. They still don't win, but at least I threw her in some other team. Anyway, that's done. Blob is ready to go to 6. So once the reset hits tonight, I will get him to 6 stars. And then it takes, I forget the exact count to get to, I think it's 15 days or so for me to get him to 7 stars. So in a couple of weeks, he'll be finished. And now that Sinister is back on the War Store, I have been buying him, and I am 10 shards away from 6 stars. So 2 more purchases. Man. So hopefully in the next couple of days, he'll be there. I'm saving the 3,000 credits just to make sure I have it in case he shows up.
And so that's still not using him in arena or anything else like that, just parking him in war and autoing some blitz?
You know where I threw him in, what are we doing, Alpha Raid?
Mm-hmm.
I have a team now that has him in it, and it runs the whole gamut in auto. And I check every time I'm going to start a node, and everybody's in full health. Every time, the whole thing. And I'm in the global node and the cosmic global in the middle. That's what I do. And it's like Scientist Supreme, Ultron, he's in there, and they just run the whole thing automatically. So at least I'm getting some use from him there.
So who did you sub out, Ultron or Coulson? Not Ultron, Vision or Coulson?
Let me see. I don't know off the top of my head.
Okay, don't worry about it. Yeah, because we always have been running a very similar team, which was Scientist Supreme, Shuri, Ultron, and then Vision, and I do Falcon. And I think you did Coulson instead.
I think Coulson is the one that came out. One
Okay.
of those, and Sinister gets that extra minion, and he does healing, and it
Right,
seems
right.
to be. I've had no problems running Alpha 4 in auto all the way through.
Excellent, excellent.
Yep. So we'll see once they introduce these fancy difficulty selectors. Not new teams, not new raids, but just difficulty selectors. Um, okay, so that's that. Pretty exciting there. I'm running out of things to farm creative in terms of characters. So we'll see what happens when I'm done with that. I guess it'll be just gear.
Oh, I'm pretty sure Scopo's going to take care of that problem for you.
Yes.
Each month, here's 3 new characters.
Put them in a node. Another thing to farm. All right, DD3. So I finished Cosmic. That's done.
Wow.
And started City. So that is node 13. I have Carnage and Symbiote Spider-Man. That's the team for that first node. And I ran it after I completed it, and maybe I was half asleep, but I don't know what happened. But I tried to cancel, but it was too late, and I was dead, so it was kind of a poor attempt. But anyway, I think the first couple of nodes are easy, and then it's just a grind. But everything I've heard is don't waste your time with Merc Lieutenant or Ghost Rider or any of that stuff. It's just Venom and these other two. That's all you need for the first run. Don't do Vulture. They just sit there and do nothing. And some people have done it with just these two. Venom, he's looking a little bit iffy. There's too many bio characters. I have all the spores, but I think the mini uniques are gonna get me. So he may be round 2 for the time run. So I think I'm gonna be stuck in City for a little bit, unfortunately, and that's okay. The light, I could see it at the end of the tunnel of this DD3.
Now, I think we should give a reference. We have 3 Alliance members that have completed Dark Dimension 3. 3
Yes.
members, and I think it's up to 2,041 that have completed it. So we have 3 members, which is just crazy to me, because we're not launch players, we're not whales. So I thought that was super cool that we've got players amongst those top player ranks.
I do feel the same way I did with an Ultron. There were some people that got him before I did, maybe.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just my, cautious approach, Like I like to see how things work before you. And some of these people that leveled like Shield Medic or Trooper, because now it's a regretful decision. And so far, I have no regrets about the way I did it, and you don't have to be the first, but congratulations to them. I hope they continue to help us with all the different raids and alliance related activities. Arena, so I guess my shard has reached what you've been experiencing creative, which is Black Order is everywhere, and it's around like 450 where I can't beat them anymore with the team that I have. That's the break point. Like, it's really iffy. If anything goes wrong, you're not going to win. So there's still some 420, 417 that I can beat, but normally you'll see if I'm the third, the top 2 are the 450 and 460 Black Order folks. So I'm in good shape, staying in the top 10, fighting my way there until I complete Dark Dimension 3, and then I level the rest of the characters to T14, so then I can be up there with all these other guys. So that's my plan for now.
Okay.
Red orbs. So we talked about Beast and how we're like, don't care, we're just gonna skip him. I opened 2 orbs, I think, last week. I didn't get anything. I had 16 orbs and mystic or what mysticism or superstition. I said, 16 is not a good number. Let's make it 50. I'm going to open a random orb. I did, and I got him to 3 on the spot. I was like, okay, woo.
Wow.
So now I'm a little more interested in Beast. And there's another reason I'll talk about in a second. But now I have 28 stockpile for Emma Frost whenever she decides to show up with a bonus. I know we're having the Sunday that should give me some more, plus my Mondays when I get 5 more. So I should have over 30 for her, and hopefully that gives me a good shot at getting her to 4. Um, the thing about Beast is when I was watching Duarte's video of the Blitz teams, with 7 X-Men, he basically made 2 Blitz teams. One is the 5, what we're calling regular X-Men, which is Wolverine, Storm, Psylocke, Beast, and Cyclops. And then the power couple of Colossus and Phoenix, he threw with some other randoms because they just by themselves just kind of win. So I thought that was a great idea to get a little bit more out of these teams. So I will continue pushing on Beast to at least get him to that parking lot and have him join Cyclops and the other X-Men and try this approach to see where it goes. And then with that, you may be hearing some enthusiasm in my voice and a confession time creative.
Okay.
I'm actually having fun with the game, just rejiggering all of these teams, trying some new things. Even Dark Dimension 3, these cosmic nodes, they were kind of fun because you did have to make decisions, who am I going to attack and try different things, and it didn't feel as bad as the first 8 nodes. I really felt like maybe it's because of the way they set up the nodes combined with the team that I have. Ebony Maw is absolutely amazing.
Right.
Hela is spreading the debuffs. It gives you some room to. It's still frustrating in a sense, but it felt like, okay, this is something I'm learning about the mechanics, and okay, I see who's going, and that guy's going to take a turn, so let me stun him with Proxima Midnight, and then you find the solution and you feel like you've accomplished something, versus, okay, I'm just going to let Phoenix die and do the special and then close the Dark Dimension section. This felt a little bit more interesting. And these Blitz teams that I'm tinkering with, it makes it a little bit more fun. I know I do auto, but sometimes I get in there and try to play with them. So I don't know. I've been feeling a little bit more upbeat and enjoying the game that way.
Well, I think that's the key thing, though, right? Is that you actually get to do some personalization of the activity in the game, right? Everybody bemoans the fact that everything is so cookie cutter in war and otherwise. So you're getting the opportunity to do a little theory crafting, of doing a little bit of strategizing. I think that's great.
Yep. So anyway, pretty cool, and looking forward to seeing what else is coming our way. There's another thing that soured all this, but I'll leave it for later, and we'll talk about it in a little bit. I'll kick it over to you, Creative, so you can tell us how your week went.
Yeah, so I got to the 6-star symbiote Spider-Man, and we had some troubles with U7 that we'll get into a little bit, and I got one shot with several key characters, and I just plugged in symbiote Spider-Man and kept on rolling. So I've been using him a lot more, and you already knew I was going to like the character. The 2-turn stun, the spreading of the debuffs. I mean, that's like right in my wheelhouse. You talk about, loving the game. I love, my old school team was the Mystic Controllers. I loved that team. You just keep on, dunking on people, and you blind them and slow them and all that. So I've been using him to a lot of success, and I've been using the symbiotes quite a bit more. And I really like that team. It's definitely not auto-friendly, but they are a strong team, and so, yeah.
I'm excited for you to get into Cosmic. I think you're going to enjoy that section. It really gives you that opportunity of doing all that stuff you're talking about.
Well, even for the global nodes, I mean, I go through a full, 2, maybe 3 cycles. Like, okay. I easily get off Phoenix's ult and get a couple attacks in most days, because I've got Shuri doing defense up, then you've got Colossus, taunting and doing his defense up, and then you got what's his face, the Sinister, also spreading positive effects and healing. So I find that I get through at least 3 rounds most times. Right. Yeah. So.
Well, we'll see. You may I'm putting money that you'll like it even more.
Excellent.
Cosmic side.
All right. It will no longer be Cry Dimension. It'll be Dark Dimension. All right. All right. So Symbiote Spider-Man is in the 6 stars. I'll keep plugging away with these last few days to get some more shards. The big thing for me was Chaos Theory and tiering 7 with my very lowly Wakandans, and I have managed to one star it.
They make it. Okay, 1 star.
Quite easily, which sounds weird that I'm saying 1 star and what quite easily. And I just had to play it 3 times. I didn't have to replay it a bunch of times. And I still think it's incredibly annoying that who do you have to go against but the counters to the Wakandans. I was not expecting to have to go against the Brotherhood. And so I'm sitting there like, oh, you got to be kidding me. So anyway, I got through all the first round pretty easily. In the second node, or the second wave, whenever Blob does his AoE stomp, BP and Okoye die. So, but hey, I spend what is it, 6-10 minutes once a month, and I get some stars. I don't care. I'm not going to invest any more in those guys. What else? The Young Avengers, I have nearly gotten them to the parking lot, and I'm using Gamora as the 5th, and I'm a little disappointed. So they're only level 60, gear tier 9, and there's no T4s whatsoever in the team, and I'm finding they're not very consistent in Blitz. You can play them and win, but they're certainly not Blitz auto friendly for Frid. So that one's been a little bit of a disappointment. But as soon as Emma Frost comes out, I'm going to slot in Captain Marvel, and they're going to dunk on people. So it'll be fine once she's there. I've been using Captain Marvel to easily win with the Marauders at this stage.
So I'll tell you the team that Duarte recommended here.
We need to pay. He needs to start paying us money. I think we've mentioned like 4 times already.
I had Gamora too, and she's just not.
No, she's not that good of a character, yeah.
And I have a 5 red star Gamora too. Anyway, it's the Young Avengers and Spider-Man. He has the regular Spidey, the classic. Mm-hmm. And it seems a little bit better.
Okay.
But again, I've only done 1 cycle, so more to come. But I had Gamora there, and it was not very useful. So.
Well, I still go back to the early days of playing the game. You're like, oh my gosh, have you seen this combo? And you're talking about your early brawlers, and that's one of the reasons you took them up so high, is because Spider-Man would go put defense down on everybody. Yes. Then Deadpool would come and kill everybody. So, yeah, I mean, he's still a great character, particularly that first one. First round move is solid, so he can do a lot with that.
And I also have a 5 red star Spider-Man, so that helps too.
There you go. So outside of those 2 focuses, getting ready for Chaos Theory, doing the Young Avengers, I've been a little lost about what I want to do next. I have gotten Carnage to T13, and then I have not been able to get him to T14 because I am still, 20 plus Morrow's short and other stuff. So... and I ran out of ABCs to keep going on Venom. My training mats are pretty low, so I haven't really been doing a whole lot in the game, but I've been looking back to my other favorite team of the Black Order. And just like Frid, and I think we've talked about this in the past, my arena shard is the top, 7 are all Black Orders, and then there's a few of us that keep creeping in. So, and this week I easily got in the top 10. I don't know if people are on vacation or what it is, but I did find a video, and I shared it with Frid, and I've shared it with some of my alliance mates, from a content creator named Hoju, Hoju, and it was entitled How to Beat Black Order with Black Order. And I thought it was very well done and explained. And, we already know when it's a Black Order against Black Order fight that whoever does Thanos' special second will win the fight. And that means that the other team flips all your positive buffs to negative buffs, flips all theirs, and then you come behind that and just destroy them and make them fully red with the bad buffs. Mm-hmm. And so he outlined a strategy that I found very interesting. And it's you use or manipulate the opponent's Thanos passive, which is the entire team gets speed up if one of the characters goes below 50%. And he did that by T4ing Proxima's basic, and he used that instead of the special or ensured that he, could do that move ahead of Thanos' special. And it was, he used his Proxima on the other Proxima team, and by T4ing Proxima's basic, you get more damage, no surprise there, and you get the guaranteed assist from Corvus, so it almost always will get the opponent Proxima below 50% and speeding up the full team, including Thanos. So I thought that was really well done, really insightful, and he has a 360 Black Order, and he was taking out 500k plus Black Order. So I'm pretty sure I'm going to go do that. Mine is about 311, 312, somewhere in there. So I'm going to give that a try out, and we can report back to the listeners on that. So, nice. But I can't. So I'm slowly leveling them up. I think they're all 71. They'll get them to 72, 73, just to see if I can get them a little bit stronger, and then I'll do those extra T4s. But I still need to figure out what I'm going to do in terms of leveling. Nothing else is really jumping out at me or exciting me. I guess I can go parking lot, the X-Force, or I don't know. We'll see. But let's switch gears and talk about the news.
We interrupt this program for a special news bulletin.
And so this week's blog posts, like most of the blog posts, have been quite limited during these dog days of summer. So that's been nice that we've been focusing on other things, and we're not going to cover the news extensively. But the bad news is that controversies are in fact back. So we had a few weeks of even keel bliss, and now we're back to the controversy. So first and foremost, I mentioned earlier in the show, we had some issues with U7. And it is clear that Scopely has done some stealth buffing of U7 yet again. And it happened on Thursday and Friday. And you say, well, how do you know, Creative? You're making this up. I know because I want to say 7+ of our top damage dealers all ended up wiping on the first boss node and other nodes that we do easily. And the AI was consistently targeting key members of the team like Minerva, Scientist Supreme, etc. Half the time I can still make it through without those and kind of limp through the rest of the way. But it was shocking. Like, I posted in game like, oh great, I've wiped on the first boss. I've never done that in ever. And then all of a sudden, person after person after person after person was saying the same thing. So yet again, we're having stealth buffs to U7. No one will convince me otherwise. It has definitely happened. And then the next controversy that got some press was that a special gold calendar was given out to players. No communication on it, just showed up for some people and didn't show up for others. And ultimately, Foxnex came out, or Scopely came out and said that it was the same gold calendar that other people got back in January. They're just giving it to people that didn't get it before. I have zero issues with that. I would love parity. I would love more things for newer players to get back into the game. There's such a tall mountain to climb with this game. I would love for them to give other opportunities like that. But I think the lack of communication is causing a lot of consternation. I feel like, it's a bunch of 2-year-olds that are like, he got the gold and I didn't. So then Reddit blows up. And then on top of that, somehow, and this one really cracks me up, somehow the experienced players that have been in game for a long time, they were put accidentally into the baby blitz, or as we call it, or the beginner blitz shard for X23. So the winners of X23 in the beginner shard had 15 to 20 million, and you're only in that for like 30 days or something like that. So then we had, some people that won the baby blitz and got more shards, and then they missed out on milestones and vice versa. So they're Scopely is going to send out different amounts of the X23 shards based upon how select players were affected as compensation.
Hey, Creative, I know I'm going to translate what this means.
Okay.
We have no idea what's going to happen or who's going to get what. It's going to be wrong, and they'll spend like 6 months trying to clean it up. Remember Captain Marvel?
Oh, yeah.
I just see this happening again.
Yep.
Like the wrong people getting shards or whatever it is they're going to give. Hopefully they're listening and just do something flat across the board and just call it a day, because every time you try to fix it, it seems like you open up a can of worms and another saga that lasts months to clean up.
Yeah, I mean, think of the time and effort they spent on that Captain Marvel thing. I mean, just the mere sheer cost of doing 3 rounds of this, the specialized query, the specialized code. I mean, just give everybody 20 shards and call it a day. Jeez. Goodness gracious. But Creative, I think you've been hanging around me a little too much. We need the bright and cheery Frid. Come on, I already have the role of the podcast curmudgeon. So, all right. What else? The other controversy that I thought was kind of interesting is the event graphic for the X Marks the Spot special event featuring the X-Force has a picture of an Elite 5 Red Store orb fragment on it. And then you go look in the rewards and you don't see any of that. No. So people are calling foul on that too, which I agree. I mean, why would you show that in the graphic? Come on, just put a mini unique or something. Jeez. So anyway, clearly I made a big deal about Scopely not talking about game quality in their 2020 blog post, and we have clearly figured out why that is the case. So, into other news items, Ironheart is going to take Rescue's node, which, never made sense to begin with of why Rescue was put there. And then, Frid, you mentioned your kind of your secret side project of leveling up Ironheart. Do you want to talk maybe a little about her? I know you talked a little about it before, but do you want to talk any more about her?
Yeah, this is once I did her, it's like a chain reaction that caused my whole blitz.
Yeah.
to be reconfigured because Vision needed a home and all this other stuff. But I can tell you, and I got her to parking lot, so 60, tier 10, 6664. It seems a lot more consistent in auto blitz than with Vision.
Really?
Yeah, it's basically, I think, the order of the turns. So when she goes in her ult and puts the defense down, War Machine goes right after.
Yeah.
And that combination, I have a 5 red War Machine, but just in general, you know how much damage War Machine can dish out. That alone, I think, is what's making the difference. Because, before, Vision would clean out the buffs and then War Machine would go, but then they changed the order around, so that didn't work. But with her, it works even better because it's a defense down.
Okay.
And she has good focus. It seems to land. And so far, I'm really enjoying the team. I don't know much about the character, but I'm glad parking lot is not a lot of investment. It's some gold. And, I have training mats for days. And, no orange materials or anything like that. And it seems to be a more consistent 8.3 team, because if you have Vision, you really have to manage the turn order.
Right.
It still does it wrong, but the Ironheart War Machine combo, I think it's pushing them over the top.
Okay.
So
that's music to your ears.
I know. I'm like, all right, another auto team, and I'll probably invest a little bit more. And maybe even that T4 that does the defense down for 2 turns. Because that could be useful in war for, Red Skulls and things like that.
Yeah, have you used her yet in war?
I have not.
Okay.
I will maybe this war that's going on right now.
Yeah, there's a bunch of lower guys, so I think you'll have plenty of opportunities.
Yeah, and the fact that I had tech gear laying around, it wasn't too impactful. I'm really happy. I have it at 4 red stars. And now that she's coming, I'll add her to my farming list and farm her every day.
I told you Scopely would solve your problems.
That's right. That is right.
All right. I do have to say something here, though. So Ironheart has come farmable, and that's great. I have her at 4 red stars, and she's been at 3 forever. But I've never invested in her. But she came out in June. There were 6 other characters released before her. Cyclops came out in January. Let me repeat that. January. She came out in June. I know they have both J's, and that's confusing to Scopely, but come on. Red Skull came out before her. Proxima came out before her. Corvus came out before her. Taskmaster and Cull Obsidian have all come out before her. I want every one of those characters instead of Ironheart. Come on. What is this release cadence? Come on. All right.
Yep. I mean, it makes a team that kind of continue to work. So, yeah, she probably was not the most popular character. So they're just sticking her in a node. It's kind of a late node. I know it's the last villain node, but still. That's good, I guess, overall. But where are these other guys? I mean, Cyclops has no excuse.
None.
I could see some of the others, like Red Skull, Taskmaster, that heavy war tie-in, and then the Black Order is like the best team. But Cyclops, like, what does he do? I don't get why he's like so.
He's so
locked.
special, man.
I know, I don't get it.
Clearly, he shoots money from his eyes. All right, and then we did see in the blog post that there are going to be more SBCs, Superior Basic Catalysts, included in the Hand Catalyst event. And the only reason I mention that is that we have seen several content creators talking about and publishing information about Gear Tier 15 data mines and the insane amount of SBCs needed for Gear Tier 15. Gear Tier 15 requires 1,400 SBCs. Tier 14 requires around 700. I found that to be insane. So they're going to need to do something. I mean, it's going to get to the point where you're going to be waiting 3 months just to get, SBCs. We did the math, and it was a dreadfully low number. So, I mean, just putting them in the Hand Catalyst event is not going to be anywhere near enough.
That's crazy. Like, I think I heard from the 3 guys that finished, or maybe from some content creators, that they got maybe 5,000 SBCs out of completing DD3, which is like a multi-month, multi-core, who knows, we've done the math a million times, resource dump, and then you get 5,000?
Yeah, we've heard from everyone that's completed has been like, oh, that's all I got.
Which we kind of remember in the old show. You were talking about that.
Yeah.
But that's only generally to get some others to D14, which I'm now reconsidering altogether. Like, is it even worth it? Because this Dark Dimension 4, who knows what the requirements are going to be. So we may want to hang on to these SBCs.
Yeah, to those other content creators that are giving ideas to Scopely about how to make this worse. Like, oh, let's make it you have to have each role of the team to do it. I'm like, guys, stop. They don't need ideas. They already know how to make things terrible. Please stop. Please stop. And then finally, in our still haven't heard news, we still haven't heard any information on Emma Frost's release method. And we have quite a few people that are doing some speculation that she's going to be some weird or different release method. So normally they come out and say blitz. We're expecting a blitz. Hopefully it's not a ridiculous amount of blitzing for some milestone event. We will see. Maybe they'll be nice and put her in the next Greek raid. Wouldn't that be wonderful?
Oh my gosh. Please make it something else, not a blitz. I'm pretty excited about this character for whatever reason.
Okay. All right.
I don't know if she's going to live up to the hype, but I have a good feeling about her.
Oh, she'll be up to the hype in about 2 months when they fix all of her bugs. So, yeah. And on the topic of blitz, there is still no automation of matches. The mode still does not help players learn to do punch-ups. Yo-Yo, for some reason, is still only in the premium orbs. I don't know what else I have to do. Come on, guys. And then where are our changes for low quality time? It's now August 1st. We're recording on Saturday. In February 1st, you talked about improving or, doing things to change low quality time. Still waiting on that one. And then the raid store. We haven't had a new character since Namor added in February. That was the winter time, folks, just for everybody, for the people on the North American side or the north side of the equator. That was the winter. We are now fully into the summer.
I think you mentioned some candidates that may fit in there. I don't know. I think you went through a list of potential choices.
All right. Well, with that, why don't we switch gears and run the numbers?
All right, so Scopely surprised us all with a X marks the spot event, kind of an out of nowhere, kind of milestone event, all around the X-Force. We were trying to run the numbers, but when we looked at it, it's like we're missing a bunch of information. So we would have to run like a bunch of what if scenarios, and it would make it difficult. So the big part that's missing is how long is this going to run for? We know it starts in a couple of 2 or 3 days, but we don't know for how long. And that's super important in order to determine this.
Yeah, but at the same time, I want to give them credit. They have told us when the event is going to start. They've told us how many points we can get for doing different activities, and they've shown us the reward. So this is phenomenally better than anything else. I mean, that all they had to do was just say it was going to be 7 days in one of the blog posts. But we have, 80% of the information. We get to look at this and plan for it. That's fantastic. So good on you, Scopely.
That's right. Good communication. Anyway, we did want to give you something. So we are assuming 7 days, just because we don't know. Maybe it's 10 days. Maybe it's 14 days. We're going to say 7 days to be conservative. Hopefully it's not something like 3 days. That would be crazy. But we're going to go with 7, which feels conservative enough for us. First thing is that you can get points for using X-Force in Arena. And we're not doing that because...
Negative.
Why would you do that? That makes no sense. So we're skipping that. We are also assuming that you are using X-Force in war, even if it's for a loss. I actually have been destroying mercenaries with my X-Force.
Nice.
But you get you get points for winning or losing. Combat cancel doesn't count. So make sure you get in there even if it's to lose. Okay, so if you were to use your X-Force for war and blitz, you can earn 420 points over 7 days. This is about 30% of the points you need, which I think it's around 1,400 if I'm not mistaken, something like that total. So this gives you about 30%. So where can we get the rest of these points? Well, you can get 100 points from doing your arena. Just 5 attacks standard. That's 100 points.
Okay, so why don't you total us up what we got so far from using X-Force and Blitz and War and doing your 5 arena attacks so that we can figure out how much crazy blitzing we have to do.
So that's a 420 and 100. It's 520 points. So with that, you're going to still need 760 points in order to get all of these goodies. So that means blitz, which seems to be the way to go. And you get a grand total of 2 points per blitz win.
Oh man, raking it in.
Which means that's 54 blitz wins per day, which if you're running 15 teams, that's about 3.5 cycles a day. Again, assuming this runs for a week. So blitz is the way to patch it up, as they always do. When they run out of ideas, you blitz.
And so we did the math on 4 cycles for getting enough currency to do 2 attacks and more, plus some buffs, plus Toad. And that was about 2 hours a day, 2.5 hours a day. So this is still a 3.5 for 15 teams, or if you're just tanking, it's even less. But that's still an hour and a half plus per day.
More blitzing. Okay. One of them is during the Namor blitz, so we can use methods like the tanking method if you have a high enough Namor. Okay, the rewards. I mean, it's not crazy like the Negasonic kind or the Chimichangas, whatever, but that's still pretty good for something kind of out of nowhere that nobody was expecting. We will get 20 shards of each Domino, Negasonic, and X-23. So that's to help us progress towards the unlock of Doc Ock, which is the X-Force. And there's about 200 SBCs and 30 mini uniques in there.
So
I really hope.
Yeah, go ahead.
I really hope there's other ways to get shards for these characters.
So let's speculate here. They gave us this special event. I still think it's because sales for X-Force have been low. Again, it's a team that's really only used in war. You can somewhat use them in Blitz. When they've tried to make you further incentivize with Doc Ock, whose goes better with another lackluster team of the Sinister Six. So, do you think they're going to make these 3 farmable before Doc Ock's release in a month or a month and a half?
I mean, there are opportunities to do it, but they just said this about Ironheart. You got Cyclops that's so old, they may stick him in the raid store. So I don't know where they're gonna put these characters. I'm starting to get the sense that this is gonna be like Black Bolt, and it's just pay only legendary, which would be unfortunate.
I
What do you think?
agree with you. I believe that is the direction they're going to go for all legendaries going forward. But we'll see. Here's to hoping. But hey, those 200 SBCs, that's going to put a real dent in getting you to T15, man. You only need 1,200 more.
They need to run this 7 times in order for us to get it.
Yeah, on that, there's one thing I didn't put in our notes here that I did do some testing of Dark Dimension 2. And you're probably wondering, why the heck am I talking about Dark Dimension 2? So people have been talking about how can we get more SBCs? And, people always talk about let us run Dark Dimension 1 and Dark Dimension 2 again once a month to get the rewards, which I thought was, minimal amount of coding for Foxnext, Scopely. And I want to see how hard or easy it was. The answer is it's really easy. I did Symbiote Spider-Man, Carnage, Ultron, and who else? Oh, goodness. Min, maybe? No, I didn't even use Min. I did Black Bolt and maybe Yo-Yo.
These are crazy characters.
They are crazy characters. But what I'm getting at is as soon as they open the door for this, in-game players like us, it took about 2 hours to do this, and it was mostly on auto. I say mostly because I started it off and make sure it starts well. And at the end of the node, I would always finish it off just to ensure the cooldowns are ready. But it only took me 2 hours on mostly auto. So, I don't see them letting us play Dark Dimension 1 and 2 and getting all those rewards. But they need to do something.
Well, I have an idea. They have been testing the difficulty selector and giving one-time rewards. And that would be the way to get there, right? You just... jack it up somehow, and then you get some stuff.
But that requires more coding, though. They've got to
Oh, that's right.
Yeah, I mean the difficulty selector on Dark Dimension 2 is Dark Dimension 3. We don't need anything else.
I thought it would be a code they could reuse and just apply to the. Anyway.
But I'm still curious in this day and age of what characters to recommend. So I still want to fool around with Dark Dimension 2 a little bit just to see what's out there. But the symbiotes certainly are a stellar group in Dark Dimension 3, and they were doing quite well in Dark Dimension 2. So I'm curious about that, and I keep talking about, I want to talk about kind of some stuff for new players, and so maybe we'll get to weave some of that in. Everybody and their brother is publishing a new player guide. Mm-hmm. And Tana posted up something I thought was really good, well done, but it even gave kind of different flavors of which way you want to go. So maybe we could talk about it in the future week.
Well, and what Tana did is doing Scopely's job for them, and actually like a game manual about what each of the icons means and all this other stuff that they don't explain.
At all.
At all. You just got to know as you play. Yep.
Okay. Well, let's close it out with Conspiracy Corner. And we haven't done one of these in a while. We've had plenty of Festivus-like topics, so we didn't necessarily need Conspiracy Corner as well. So I already covered the stealth buffs to U7. I covered that in the news because it is clearly a fact they're messing with the game. I will not be convinced otherwise. So we're going to talk about Conspiracy number 78. And I want to talk about the campaign event orb. So the example being the Squirrel Girl event. Both Frid and I have had terrible luck. Until today, we both have seen Squirrel Girl in the middle. But up till today, and keep in mind that I'm refreshing or doing at least 3 energy refreshes, and Frid is doing like 20 million energy refreshes and spilling his 19,000 cores in 2 days.
Eight refreshes created.
That's crazy. So anyway, we are getting plenty of orbs. And between the two of us, I think we saw Squirrel Girl in the middle before today a grand total of 5 times, halfway through the event, which is crazy. And where are you at this point, Frid?
Yeah, so there's 7 days to go, and I'm at 70 of 80, so almost at 4-star.
Goodness gracious.
Yep. That means I have earned 170 now. 27 of those come for free just by running the event.
Mm-hmm.
which means I have 140 to go for a 5-star. It's so halfway through. If you subtract the 27, yeah, I mean, at this pace, even at this pace, I would have to continue to spend 600 cores, remember, every day, 600, to get her to 5, which is just crazy. Like Proxima and Toad and some of the other Taskmaster, I didn't have this problem. Domino is where it started, and this seems to be going the same way. Like, I don't see her in the middle at all.
I think they're monkeying with the orbs. I'm going to be convinced. No, I can't convince me otherwise.
They've left the percentage supposedly the same, but it's not really happening. I haven't even gotten a 24 once, and think about how many orbs I've opened. It's at least 3 extra a day of whatever you get. So
I didn't even know that there was a chance of getting 24 in orb. I don't think I've ever seen that.
That was my first Proxima orb. Proxima, come back. That luck I needed.
Yeah. So I think that's our big topics for today. I did want to do just a quick shout out. I was looking at our metrics on Podbean, and we are well over 7,000 downloads for our 23 plus episodes. So big thank you to our listeners. We're averaging almost 400 downloads per episode. So that's a far cry from our first starting out point, but big thanks to our listeners. As always, you can reach out to us on Gmail if you want to send us an email at rng@gmail.com. We are on Twitter at RNG Endgame. And of course, we are on the public Ragnarok Discord server. So come out and say hi. We post some things there. We are going to post Frid's rejiggered Blitz teams and a few other things there. Come join us for the conversation. But again, thanks to all of our listeners. Stay safe, stay healthy. Thanks, everybody.
Talk next week.